Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 272.
272.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. 2019 Walt Disney World vacation packages are now open for booking. I think that just happened yesterday. Go to MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel for a free quote, and also you can sign up for the newsletter. They can also assist with Disneyland Paris, which is what we're going to be talking about today, Disney FanDaze.
Everybody should go to MEI and book a trip to Disneyland Paris right now. 3 weeks, not enough time.
I know. It was kind of sad to come back, but I've already been to DC, and I just...
now we're going to California.
Yes, we'll be in California for a week, and then we're going to lay low for a while.
So we're going to start our very first show back about Disney FanDaze.
And Disney FanDaze was on June 2nd, and you can see we had a lot of dreary days in Disneyland Paris. I want to say, we could still get around and stuff, but we had while we were here, and where we are right now is just checking in for FanDaze. But we had a lot of lightning. I've never heard so much lightning, and it was like Florida.
Well, all our friends say we brought the lightning, and I think they might be right. But as far as check-in, it was a seamless, the easiest check-in I've ever done for an event ever. And here are the goodies that we got when we checked in.
Right, we got a lanyard and a pin. I forgot even that I had a pin. I forgot all about all my stuff.
Yeah.
It's been several weeks, and then the brochure.
So here we are. We are now the next day, the actual day of FanDaze, picture perfect weather, which was a great thing. And here we are entering the park. There was a lot of excitement that day, and we're going to go straight into the Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris.
And the really fun thing was, they had, I don't want to say just entertainment, but atmosphere. Like right now you have these people with big fake cameras.
Fake? They are fake?
Yeah, I think they are.
That guy was kind of showing how we had a little small camera compared to his giant one.
And there was entertainment really all over, but right now you have Disneyland Paris President Catherine Powell, though she's moving from Disneyland Paris now to more of a oversee, North America.
And what a perfect outfit to wear with the big cheese there.
Right, and you have Mickey and Minnie. You also have the Disneyland Paris ambassadors. And so this is just a kickoff for FanDaze. And it was about a 6-hour event. It cost us about $100 a person or so.
Actually, I think it was about 110 euros. But for all the entertainment you got, I think it was actually a great deal. Now, after the speech, the little setup you saw, everyone sort of ran off to do their first thing. But we had already planned to see Oh My Ortensia, the very first time that she was ever making an appearance in a Disney park.
And so you see Oswald here, and there's a whole big performance. They had a number of shows. But this was the first time that we're watching it right now that Ortensia will come out, and she also ends up receiving flowers, which will probably show. But that would have only happened at the first show. And here is Ortensia. We have never seen her as a walk-around character before, so that was really fun. This was like a highlight of the event.
Very well done, too. When you look at most of the advertising of the event, this is what you see. You see Oswald and Ortensia, and also the mug and a lot of the merchandise, the pin, all that stuff. So they are definitely the faces of the event. But they're just so much fun and just very, very nice to see.
And I think if you've ever seen the Newsboys show at Disney California Adventure, this sort of reminded me of that. This is a type of show that could kind of fit in with that. But it was nice to see, Oswald finally has his, I don't know if it's his girlfriend, I think, with him in the show.
And here we have the presentation of the flowers that you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I thought that was very nice. It only happened at the first show, and the ambassadors, I thought it was really nice.
No, they officially welcomed her to the Disney Parks family.
And you can see the cameras were all there.
Yeah, we had to kind of fight around the cameras, but it was worth it. Sometimes when you have the perfect spot, the perfect spot is used for all.
Yes, and here are Oswald and Ortensia as they leave. I would love to see, especially since Oswald is at Disney California Adventure, I would love to see Ortensia make her way there.
And they are literally driving away into the sunsets, although they will be making more appearances that night. I think they did the show about 3 or 4 times.
And it wasn't sunset. Yeah, it was sunset was like 9:30.
Yeah, that's right. That's one thing that's very true. So here are a bunch of character meet and greets. We didn't do many of these because the lines were quite long, but there was so much entertainment, we didn't really have to.
Well, we were also just trying to make our way around. So really the characters we're meeting probably about half of the time. This is
Megara and Phil. And Phil never comes out. You haven't seen him in a long time, nor have you seen Chicken Little. We haven't seen Chicken Little since Easter a number of years ago.
Well, probably like 7 or 8 years ago now. But there were about 80 characters, maybe a little bit more, and some of them were roaming characters, and some of them were static in one place. And they met for about 3 hours, I think, total, and about 3 hours off, maybe 2.5 hours off or something.
Personally, I had more fun with the roaming characters. I always do. And there's Abby Mallard there. And there's our friend Matthias making a little cameo.
Oh, in the Trader Sam shirt.
Yes.
But I liked having the combination of different characters because like with some of them, you could definitely meet them out roaming. Otherwise, you might have to stand in line. Joy and Sadness had one of the longest lines. So it was very interesting to see who had the longer lines here. And I sort of knew Joy and Sadness would, even though at Epcot, they are, they're there every day, where they aren't, they were new for Disneyland Paris.
Right. And also Anna and Elsa had super long lines, which was good for us because we could meet them with very short lines anytime here.
Right. And Anna and Elsa and Olaf were there, and Kristoff. But here they wouldn't have the type of lines because you do see them every day. But it was such a big deal to have them there.
And here we have some Atlantis characters coming out.
And I just thought the combination of different characters, it was sort of like the 25th anniversary.
Very much, yes.
So when we knew that they were going to have Disney FanDaze, I expected it to be very similar in feel and characters to the 25th, which was really my favorite day ever in the parks. This was a different type of day. Here is Matthias. We have Axel in the background.
Yes, who's who?
Just everybody's here. We knew so many people. We have so many friends over there now, which is really nice.
And here we have Jem Hawkins from Treasure Planet.
But no Ben, who he was with at the 25th anniversary.
I loved Ben. That was so cool. And it made you finally watch Treasure Planet.
Yeah, but you know what?
I think you fell asleep, but at least you watched it.
I probably fell asleep. I don't really remember it that much.
But he was great. Again, they were all excellent. They gave us plenty of time. I mean, this isn't even in line. Axel's getting a selfie there. So I really have to say it was really great interactions all night.
And here is Bowler Hat Guy. I still remember the first time we saw him, probably 3 or 4 years ago at least now. He has appeared at Walt Disney World occasionally. And so he was one of the roaming characters. And again, I just like that they had a combination of different characters. So if you didn't want to stand in line, you could still see the characters, some of them up close.
Absolutely. And this was an innovation I think was especially good, the picture spot.
Well, this is called, the point photo picture spot. And this is Honey Lemon from Big Hero 6. And you could just stand there like they were supposed to look at you between guests.
Right.
So you stood in one place, and it's where the sign is. And then they could, wave at you or pose for you. And so it was just really nice for guests who might want just a photo of the character.
Which are a lot of guests.
Right. It allowed you to be not in line and to be able to still get a posed photo. And I thought that was one of the best things I've ever seen in a Disney park as far as characters.
I would love to see that implemented around here. It's just so perfect. And none of the people in line seem to mind. I mean, they're able to watch the character pose. They can get pictures too. So it's good for all. And it's something, again, I'd like to see happen more often at all the parks all over the world.
And most of the characters had it, and the photo pass and those who were attending the characters would be like, look this way. So that I thought that was nice.
So now we're watching the Dance Your DuckTales parade. This is a special parade created just for the event, and you can see it was really well done.
Well, there was a lot of things created just for the event. And again, we may see the event again in the future. Mm-hmm. They put a lot of time and money into this. You have all new costumes here. There's at least 40 performers. You have Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We're going to see Donald and Launchpad McQuack and Scrooge McDuck. And you can see them here. We have seen these tricycles for different events.
The tricycle gang, yes. But look at their nicely themed. They actually have duck bills and everything on the top of them. I mean, everything about it is very well done.
And if there is another FanDaze, and if you do go to it, they do have a couple of show stops, and that's where we were waiting for a show stop. And that way you can actually see them not just passing by you, but, dancing and performing in front of you. And here's Launchpad. I was just mentioning as far as the tricycles that they are riding. Mm-hmm. Those were used last Halloween. They had a scaled-down version of Halloween in the main Disneyland park. So the villains came in on tricycles.
They were called the Tricycle Gang, yes.
And but we've seen them at other times as well. But then you have the confetti here, so it was really fun, and you know
the music too. I mean, you really need to watch
really
this. The
fun.
music, of course, it's the classic DuckTales music. So as you said, so much fun, so energetic, just infectious, and you know. For just a one night, possibly a one night only thing, it's amazing that they were able to do this.
I mean, they do call it the inaugural party, so we'll see if it happens again. I think it would be nice. It would be nice to. There were a few challenges during the evening, but overall, especially for the entertainment value for money, I thought it was very good.
And I want to reiterate what you had said before. The show stop is what made this. Had we not known about the show stop and we had just been at the beginning of this parade and they just kind of pedaled by, it wouldn't have been as exciting. So there again, 2 show stops, one over here by Armageddon and one right in the middle of the main street there, right by where you can see sort of tower in the background.
Right. I thought it was very nice. And here we have Scrooge Mcduck, and they are heading out. This is the end of the parade route. I think they had 2 or 3 parades at least that evening. And now we're seeing Linguine here.
Yes, this was an awesome experience. The only other time I've ever seen Linguine was during the inaugural 5K a couple years ago.
And it's not like we met him or anything. There was a line, but he was with Remy and Emile at that time, where here he was trading off with Remy and Emile. So right now he's posing with guests. He is a walk-around character. Which means you may or may not meet him, but at least you can kind of see him. A lot of people get to meet him because he's there for quite some time. And Bistro Chez Remy's in the background, and the Ratatouille ride as well.
Well, in this case, we actually both did get to meet him and get pictures with him. So again, much better than the run, much more time than when you're trying to, although it was only a 5K, but still. Anyway, we're about to see Remy and Emile make an appearance as well, which is very exciting for us.
Well, this is the one that I really wanted. Of anything on this night, I didn't really need to meet characters. I'm not somebody who needs to meet characters all the time, but I did want to.
You like to see them. You don't necessarily have to meet them and get a picture with them.
Most of the time that's the case with me, but I really wanted to meet Remy and Emile. And I was very nervous because I'm like, this is the one character meet and greet I want on this evening. And, you know, in this case, they actually have to choose you. But the attendant noticed that I was being very quiet, except raising my hand each time, and she ended up getting me in.
And that was really nice. And did it live up to the expectation you had?
Of course. And then we met Remy again. Like Remy and Emile sometimes do meet over here during the day. And we met Remy, Remy, not Emile.
Right. It was just Remy. And one thing that was special is you see these nice lights in the background, all in this little courtyard. That was just for the event. So it was really even more beautiful than ever. And you're normally not in this park at night in darkness, especially that time of year. So that made it even more magical as well.
Right. Especially, I mean, right now it's like 11 o'clock when it's totally dark. Heroes and Villains Alley was probably the biggest challenge of the party. And Axel did get to go. Jeff waited for about 2 hours, but didn't end up seeing anybody.
I think I gave up after about 2 hours and 15 minutes when it looked like it was going to be an impossibility. But you were the smart one. You bailed out early.
I did. I went to go get food, and it just didn't look like it was going to happen. I just brought you food, and that's about it. There were about 16 Disney heroes and villains in this area.
It does look great. Like if you're able to get in there, it looks like it would have been a really fun meet and greet with lots of characters, lots of villains and heroes. But on the bright side, when I left, I was able to meet up with you, and that's when we met Remy and Emile. So it had a happy ending.
Right, and I got to go get food, so that was really important.
Yes.
There weren't very many dining options open on this evening.
But thanks to Curious Axel for letting us use this footage and for taking it and for hanging out and just having an awesome time. And you should always subscribe to the Curious Axel YouTube channel.
Right, and here is Hades. And so this is actually the first time I'm actually seeing this footage.
Doesn't it look fun? Like it would have been a good time in there.
I didn't expect it was going to be somewhere where you'd have to stand in line to get into the alley. I thought it would just be kind of like the roaming characters.
Right.
I think that would have been a lot easier. And here we have Kronk and then Cuzco as the llama, which is totally unusual, something you never see.
I have never seen that before. That was really awesome.
And right now we're going through some of the footage I shot while you were in line waiting for the Heroes and Villains Alley.
Esmeralda and Quasimodo.
Right. So I went around and took a little bit of video of some of the characters around because for some reason I didn't realize the street party at the end would have all these characters. I didn't read the map or something. Here we have
Darkwing Duck.
Right, and Launchpad McQuack. So I also took this. So it was really fun to kind of walk around and see where everybody was. I never found Shelley May. And
they were all in the front.
Were they in the front?
You had to go through Studio One to get to them.
I had no idea.
I didn't know either until it was too late.
So if we ever did it again,
Chip and Dale
definitely
Rescue Rangers.
to spend some time researching. And there was just so many, because you had over like 80 characters here, so it was hard to really see everybody, even if you just want to see them and not meet them all.
Right, and here is a character we see all the time at the Magic Kingdom when they have the hoedown.
Right, this is Brer Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And
speaking of rabbits,
Roger Rabbit.
What a segue that is. It's Roger Rabbit, and for the first time ever, Eddie Valiant.
And this was something that was a really big deal, and some friends of mine wanted to see them, and again, a little bit of a challenge. The one thing about roaming characters, I really like having roaming characters,
but
too. Sometimes it's hard, like when I had the boot on after I had broken my ankle and we went to Harambe Nights, and I was like chasing after Mickey and Minnie because they were roaming, and it was very hard to catch them.
Right. Well, if you are someone in a wheelchair, it is very difficult to track down the roaming characters.
Our friend's mother was the case, yes. Right. Our friend's mother is in a wheelchair, so it made it a little bit more difficult on this day.
But a happy ending. We're about to see them right here, and they both got to meet them, and they were so happy. They had an awesome time. Shout out to Kelly and her mother there.
Yeah, her mom is partially blind, and so it was a little bit more of a challenge for them to get to see them, but they did get to see them, and they were so happy about it. So I didn't even realize that we had video of this.
Disney magic at its finest, right there.
It's really nice to see that. So you need to send that to them too.
Well, they can watch the show.
No, but you should send them the clip. But Roger and Eddie Valiant were really popular. So not as popular maybe as Joy and Sadness. So, and it's interesting again to see which characters are really the big ones at these type of events.
Well, I would say these were certainly the most popular roaming characters, no doubt about that. Now here is an absolute highlight of the whole event. It's Max live getting goofy with it.
And I just think these outfits are so interesting. They're very European. It's not something you're generally going to find.
Very plastic also.
Yeah, it's very something. But it was really, this actually was a highlight of the event. Almost everybody I talked to, this was one of the things that they talked about the most is really enjoying it. And you see Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde here. They have a variety of different characters in the show. You have 30 new costumes, at least, for the show. And Max, of course, also has one.
And there is Stitch and Angel just kind of appearing out of nowhere from the ground. And again, I had no idea any of this was going to happen. I had done zero research. So every time they brought new characters out, it was a complete surprise to me. And they were not ones that I would have expected to see in the show. So it was really, really good. And the music was great. The choreography. There was also a lot of lasers, projections on the Tower of Terror. I mean, it was a real multimedia. Water was involved, big water cannons, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it really was something. And I actually stood further back because I don't really like getting up close into the crowd as much. Mm-hmm. And I thought being further back was even better. But there were, I was going to say, Max had a new costume, and Angel is actually a character who you will see occasionally at Disneyland Paris.
And here is Yzma, another character I absolutely didn't expect to see in the show.
And also Cuzco, obviously both from the Emperor's New Groove, which I haven't seen actually in quite some time.
And now we have Caballeros, 2 to be exact.
Well, Donald's in the parade, so I guess...
DuckTales parade, yes, very busy Donald is.
And so here is Panchito and Jose as well as Max. So again, a little something fun. You see new costumes each time a new characters come out. You have new costumes as well for the characters or for the performers that match the characters.
Well, it was nice to see them singing something that's not Feliz Navidad, because almost every time we see the Caballeros, it's Christmas time.
Yes.
So it was nice to see them sing a completely different number.
And here we have the finale, and you have all the characters on stage as well as the performers, and everybody's sort of saying their goodbyes. And Goofy, I think, has a totally new costume as well for this. Really just a fun show. We saw it at the end of the night. It played at least, I think, 3 times. And that was one of the nice thing about Disney FanDaze is that it wasn't just once that they did the show, the parades and all that. They really did show most of it at least like 2 or 3 times.
And the thing is, this was at about 1:15 in the morning. This last show started. Mm-hmm. And the thing you're about to see next, a street party, 2 in the morning. So if you're
When
a
it started.
character fan, you better be able to stay up late.
So we probably were in the park for about 7 hours at least by the time everything was said and done, because we were probably left the park between 2:30 and 3, I guess.
And we also have the full video up, and I will link to that in the show notes, because there's so much to see, so much various pyrotechnics in the tower itself, and I'm only showing just little clips here, so if you want to see all that stuff, check out the full show. And here is, they call it a street party, but it's more a character parade.
And the nice thing was, if you can see here, it wasn't very busy where we were. It was like 4 or 5 deep when I went to check around the Studio One area, because this was a long parade route. And here there was so much room between everybody. This is down by Rock and Roller Coaster. And here we're seeing Mickey and Minnie.
I like this FanDaze mobile here. That is some car. Mickey always has the finest vehicles.
And I think they were out front as well. We did not see Mickey and Minnie or Shelley May and Duffy.
Yeah, all the classic characters are out at the very beginning in front of the Studio One building.
And Clarice is a regular Disneyland Paris character, really, in the parades and occasionally meet and greets around Christmas and such. Now, Clarabelle and Horace Horsecollar are not normal characters here, so they were a little more popular than they would be like at the Magic Kingdom.
I am so impressed that Max was able to do such a quick wardrobe change to be ready for this parade. Here is Roger and Eddie Valiant once again.
And it was nice to get to see, all the different characters from the entire evening all in one parade. I think that really makes it where, if you didn't get to see a character, you can see them here. And I didn't even realize Lilo was around. So we have Lilo, but also a lot of the other Lilo and Stitch characters, ones that you will never see at any other park, probably but Disneyland Paris.
And notice how well lit they all are. I mean, this is very late at night. This could have been in darkness, but beautiful lighting for this.
And we have Elena of Avalor, who has recently come to Disneyland Paris. We see her occasionally there. And we have now the Frozen characters, Elsa and Anna and Kristoff and Olaf, who again were fantastically popular, probably the most popular meet and greet of the evening that I can think of.
And they're some of your favorites who you really wanted to meet but just couldn't track them down.
I had no idea where they were. I could have just checked the map, and I should have, but the Aristocats, I would have liked to have met them. We did see them also, I think during the half marathon they were out.
Yep.
And the Incredibles, who we see with Frozone as well. They ride these during the Pixar Play Parade at Disneyland, which again will be there tomorrow from the time we're recording this. But this is the way they are in their I don't even know what you call them, but
they're kind of like motorcycles.
they look
but
like
not.
vacuum cleaners or something.
Oh,
but
it's mittens.
Mittens and Bolt. So the nice thing here is every so often we've seen Bolt certainly at Walt Disney World, but Mittens, I don't think we've ever seen Mittens at Walt Disney World. Not that I can think of anyway, maybe a long time ago. We also have Phineas and Ferb, who no longer meet at the parks here. And they were pretty popular as well. And Meet the Robinsons, and they were walk-around characters. We had seen them, and Bowler Hat Guy.
It's this is the part that really took me back to the 25th anniversary. It was different. I mean, it's the other one, the 25th was very early in the morning. This is very late at night, and they're different characters, but it just had that same feel where they just keep coming and coming and coming, and just when you think they can't do any more come.
Yeah, and it was just so much fun. And again, it was sort of a surprise for me. I didn't realize all the characters would be here, so it was a very nice bonus to the evening. And you have Yokai here, and so you have him in the Big Hero 6 group, which was quite a few different characters. I don't know where he was in the evening. We have the Hunchback of Notre Dame, including Phoebus and Frollo, and here come the Toy Story group. We'll see a lot of Toy Story coming up.
Yes, I suspect a lot with Pixar Fest and also Toy Story Land little area opening soon at Walt Disney World.
And we have Woody and Jesse, and I think these are from Stars and Cars Parade, is the cars that we're seeing coming down, and we have the Mulan group. We have just so many different characters coming. We have the Robin Hood group. I'm not going to say all the different characters' names, but some of them I don't know. Most of them I do, fortunately. We have Joy and Sadness.
This is the closest we got to Joy and Sadness, because they were packed all night.
They and the Frozen characters were probably the busiest characters of the evening, which was incredible to see because they are so They're not rare in Walt Disney World, but they are rare there. And here we have Oswald and Ortensia, who were kind of almost like the hosts of the evening.
Absolutely, and we're going to follow them all the way out to the very exit, and they'll turn around and wave goodbye. It was just a wonderful night, and I had a great time.
I didn't see the end like that. I could have gotten a picture. That would have been nice.
It gets even better. I thought you did have a picture of this.
I didn't. No.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, they're about to close the door, but we'll have a last wave goodbye to Oswald and Ortensia.
It was a very nice evening. There are a few things that I would like to see different in the evening, but overall for the amount of money spent, and that it was probably a 7-hour day. I said 6 earlier, but really from the time we were let in to the time we left was at least 7 hours.
And there were other things we didn't get involved in. There was merchandise, there were pins, things like that. We spent zero time on that.
You could spend more to hear Imagineers speak.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were other things going on.
The Duffy panel.
This was what we did. But there was actually a lot more going on. So it was really, it was nice, and to get to spend it with friends was even better.
That was absolutely the best part of the whole thing, and they're closing the door on it. It's about 3 in the morning, and it was time for me to go back and edit until 6:30. The sun came up before I went to bed that night.
Yeah, the sun came up early, and the sun, the nice thing, I really like having the sun go down later in the evening, but it does push everything later. Like we saw Disney Illuminations didn't start till 11 p.m. That's in the other park because it got dark so late.
So believe it or not, that is another show.
That's another show, and thank you to MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Check them out, especially for really any Disney travel that you're looking to do, whether it's Disneyland Paris, Walt Disney World, Disneyland. So many offers, so many events coming up. We've got Toy Story Land just days away at this point. And definitely check them out for the best deals and great service.
So we'll have lots more to talk about in the coming weeks from our big 3-week extravaganza, not to mention everything new that we are seeing here at Walt Disney World, and also Disneyland coming up in the next week.
And in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about Toy Story Land. So we will have a lot of Walt Disney World coming up, but we'll probably do segments on Disneyland Paris. There was so much, including the Marvel Summer of Superheroes, which is really a big event there, and the Festival of Pirates and Princesses we'll touch on, although we've discussed it before, but it's going to happen again next year, and it's a fantastic event that I highly recommend seeing in person if you can. And then there's so much more happening here. We have the whole incredible summer going on. And
I just saw the Guardians of the Galaxy live,
Awesome Mix
live, which was awesome. It really was good.
And you saw it twice at Epcot.
I went back just to enjoy it.
Well, he went back because my plane was 5 hours late.
Well, no,
in part,
I would have gone back regardless.
Eventually, but maybe not that evening. But I just got back from Washington, D.C., and I was supposed to be back at 4:20 or 4:40, and I was back at like 9 something. So that was a long time.
Anyway, lots of goodness to come up, lots to talk about. Again, that Marvel was spectacular. So much to say about that. Have a great week. See you all next week. And I'm backwards.
Are you back? Oh, have a great week. Bye.